All right, the deed is done. And I just give it a quick wipe down there. So I think I got all the freaking muggy handprints off there. Just me fondling it all the time. Fondling my precious. Yeah, so I got the strings changed. I didn't lock down the nut. I just put those on there. Kind of like, not quite finger tight, but just enough so that I don't lose them. It's sort of tuned up. It looks like the bridge is where it was, so I'm assuming that it was the equally matched 9 gauge string to string. Because some of them, one might have a 17 gauge G string, the other one might have a 16. This adds a 16, right? So there doesn't seem to be any sort of warranted string setup or bridge setup needed, so that's good. So I'll have to check it against the pitch to see, how the tension is and all that. So as long as it's up to A440, usually I leave a floating bridge guitar in standard tuning, just because if I do a jam night or something like that, trust me, I would love to have this guitar in drop C. Sounds great, right? But you got to reset it up for that. I already have another Mark Holcomb guitar set up in drop C. But the thing is with the Floyd, once there's a Floyd Rose or an Edge tremolo or something like that on a guitar, I view the guitar as a lead guitar. So it's like I want the full range I can get, right? So I've got fixed bridge guitars that I use for leads as well, but like my Flying V. But those guitars, like my Mark Holcomb guitar, is my like everything other tuning other than standard tuning that can be tuned on this planet. That guitar has been tuned in probably about 20 different tunings already. Great guitar. But easy to move around the tuning. Where something like this, it's kind of like pick your tuning, that's where it's going to stay because you're going to set it up to that. I even clean between the pickups a little bit, make it look a little bit more prettier-ish. Put just a couple of drops of oil on the fingerboard. Clean between the headstock. It was getting a little dusty in there, so I did that. I'm sure as soon as this, the daylight starts to really hit that fingerboard, that olive oil is really going to like turn that thing's going to be like dark. It's probably going to turn like the color of that bowl over there over time. I could really see that happening, but hopefully it all does it at the same pace. When you get a guitar like this, that's like fresh off the rack kind of thing, just came out of the, literally got loaded into the guitar store, and it's fresh from the factory. Like the neck is almost completely white, like that. You know what I mean? And it's amazing how the maple yellows over time, stuff like that. So I can already see a little bit of a darkness between the fingerboard and the headstock, which the headstock has it's a nice rock maple there. The charvels are really, really nicely done. I would love to see this neck in a roasted bird's eye maple. I think that would be. Oh yeah, the new model also has a roasted neck. This whole roasted neck thing, what's that about? Well, it's a drier wood, so you get better resonation and a more stable neck because it's drier. But is it any better than the neck of a like this? Yeah. Would you notice it over a 20-year period? Possibly. I doubt it. Like if this guitar ever needs a neck adjustment, it's because I dropped it down like 10 flights of stairs. It's not the thickest neck in the world. It's a nice C shape. I've really changed my whole philosophy on, like if you played a Fender Strat, you've played like a Player Series, same neck. It's just the fingerboard's different. Again, it's a flatter fingerboard for shredding. This whole paper thin neck thing, a lot of people are moving, a lot of guitar manufacturers are starting to move away from that because the philosophy was the flat, fast neck is what shreds, right? And there's a truth to it to a degree, but I've also noticed that you can play a 50s or 60s style Strat neck, which is like basically a baseball bat or a telephone pole. Pick your verbiage there, how thick it is, right? And you can shred just and sweep pick and do all those things on that the same way you can on a Ibanez Wizard neck. There's a bit of a snake oil salesman thing going on there where, if you don't have a flat neck, you're not going to be able to shred fat. It's more of is your thumb comfortable with a fatter neck or a thinner neck? And what I'm finding is And it's kind of a good thing if you like fatter necks because you get a more stable guitar. You know what I mean? I mean, Strats are legendary for staying in tune because of the stability of the necks. You know, they're so fat, right? But they might not be as comfortable for some people. Where, you know, like a slimmer taper neck, like I've had necks that were like my Hammer Diablo was probably the thinnest neck of any guitar I've ever played. And that neck ended up warping like most of the 90s shredders, Charvels, Jacksons, Ibanez's. Like the Ibanez, like I had Gen 1 Ibanez Wizard neck, right? So on my RG 750. That neck was like paper thin. Same like my Hammer Diablo. But I still say the Hammer Diablo was the nicest profile neck I've ever played. It was the nicest C-shaped neck I ever played. Problem is it warped. That's what happened to all the super shredders. That's why, you know, everybody goes on about, you know, the guitars from the 80s, how they, you know, the necks are so thin on them and all the guitars are fat. Now it's because all those necks would just warp. They wouldn't hold up. Where something like this, I could bet you 25 years down the road, if I'm still alive, I'll be 77 years old. Yeah, I'd be 77 years old. I bet you that neck's still going to play as good as the day I bought the guitar. You know, the frets might be a little bit worn down, but, you know, who cares? You just go get new frets. And I mean, fret wear. I mean, I've got guitars that are like almost 20 years old. Yeah, one's like my SG3 is going to be 20 years old next year with the nickel frets on it and doesn't need a fret job. I mean, I've played that guitar almost every day up until about 2019 because I started buying all these new guitars, right? And the answer is no. The frets on that, the fret work on that guitar is probably the best fret work I've ever seen on a guitar. You know what I mean? It's as good as it can get. Like this guitar is as good as a guitar can really get. It's just a matter of preference-wise. Do you like the sound of it? Do you like the look of it? I don't know. If you don't like the look of it, I can understand. You're wrong, but I can understand. You know what I mean? I mean, not everybody's mentally stable, right? I get that. But that said, I got some bass strings I got to change too. Not today, of course. I mean, what you think I'm freaking Superman? That's craziness. Changing, you know, you only change bass strings once every 3 years, whether you need it or not. Okay? 3 years. Well, okay, you can drag it over for another 2 years. They're fine. I hate bass players and their string changing. Then bass players, why are the strings so expensive? Because you guys never fucking buy any. That's why. Like the company's gonna lose money on bass strings. But just pray you're not playing a stand-up bass because that's like $130 a string on some of them, to $200 a string. I think an average set is about $250. Yeah, on a stand-up bass. That's the cheap stuff. Yeah. I'll stick with the 3-pack guitar strings for $25. You know, I still can't believe they're $25 though. Like that should be like $10 for three sets. But Ernie Ball is not my favorite string, but they do put bargain packet. Like Ernie Ball and Dario. Like Dario for the longest time was like the budget string, and they're actually a decent string. They hold tuning. They sound good. Darios though are like the most bland string you can get, I find. But the only thing that might be more blanded in is Ernie Balls. But the Ernie Balls were now cheaper. So what happens is a guitar company or a string company will start selling strings really cheap, and suddenly everybody's buying them. It's like, oh, this is the number one string to buy. Okay, and it's like everybody loves these things. No, they bought them because they're cheap. And the difference between like say blue steels, and you will if you want to change your tone. Okay, there's 3 ways to megally change your tone for all you tone guys. Number 1, your speaker. What kind of speaker am I talking about? Talking about monsters like that, right? That's got some Celestion C90s in it, 90 watt black Celestion Black Shadows. This has the Fender Eminence Jessen Black Widow speaker in it. I believe that's a 40 watt speaker, and they don't sound the same at all. Even more like with the electronics. And I've run that Fender amp between both of both of those cabinets. That will change your tone more than your guitar like that typically. The second thing is the mics and stuff like that. The third thing is your strings. You will find if you record with certain strings, it's usually a question of muddier, brighter, or thinner sounding. That's usually what I got. Now, when I went really like super crazy compression, because I love extreme high gain, and most of the time you got to back off the gain live, you got to back off the gain when you're recording, because it's too much, it muddies up. But there's a trick. Okay, if you're finding that it's really muddy with the high gain, but you're in standard tuning or close to standard, say maybe you're drop D or E flat standard, or like what you call it, C sharp standard, you could probably get away with a lighter string, which will clean up your sound, so you can compress more and you can have more gain. That's what I did with my Hammer Diablo. It worked brilliantly, especially live, so you could hear every note clearly without the lower strings getting really muddy sounding just because you had too much gain on there. The other thing is back off the bass. Pump up your mids and back off your bass. You'll get a more angrier sound and a more cut through whatever. Start there, you know what I mean? But yeah, no, strings, yes, I've tried probably every brand of string up to, like, say, everything from 1980, probably from any string that was made between the years for electric guitars, between the years of 1986, 87 to 2006. Okay, I tried everything on the market pretty much, with the exception of a few. I've never tried elixirs, but I don't think the elixirs were out in 2006. I do want to try them. Blue Steels was the king dog back in the day for just the nicest sounding strings. But the Dario 8-gauge strings worked really well on my Hammer Diablo for those other reasons I just talked about. Next to that, the actual Fender strings were really good. And on my Gibson SGs, the Gibson Brightwines. Yeah, I've tried the vintage version. I've tried boomers. I've tried the DHS boomers. I tried every kind of string you can imagine on that SG3, including flat wounds. 10 gauge and 13 gauge flat wounds, Darios. I tried them all, and I kept coming back to Blue Steels for like just the superior overall tone that I liked with the shredder guitars. The Gibson Brightwines, I love them on the vintage sounding guitars. On a Strat, I don't know, like an actual Strat, what I would use, but probably something a little. It was more the gauge that I wrestled with than the actual string brand. Like, for example, shredder guitars, 9-gauge string, 8-gauge string. See if you can live with the 9s, right? Fixed bridge stuff, I typically use 10s on the shorter scales, and just more for string balance. 9s sound horrible on my SGs. They don't stay in tune very well. 10s sound great. On my Flying V, it seems to sound really good with the 9s, which that guitar, which I bought way before the Charvel. I know it's a little messy in here. I'm still, chaos of moving, right? So, but this poor, with my shaky strap, I love the shaky strap. This poor guitar is in dire need of string change, and it still sounds cool with the original strings on it. And I've had this guitar 3 years now. Bought that in 2021, 2022. I love that freaking guitar. It's just a nut job guitar. Suits me just fine. This is the pretty girl, the supermodel, the sleek. She puts out, she's everything, right? The Flying V is like the crazy crack whore down the street that you have a relationship with, but you don't tell anybody. That's what my Flying V is. That's exactly what it is, right? So you love it in a different way. Best thrash metal guitar I shouldn't be picking on people's lifestyle problems, but you get what I'm getting at. It's a hooligan guitar. It pulls out the Randy Rhoads, Michael Schenker, Scott Ian out of you every time, Dave Mustaine out of you every time. Like, you just want to thrash on the darn thing all the time. And when I bought it, like with the strings on it were fresh, like. The guitar, the Flying V, and I'm going to do a shootout between the Charvel and the Flying V because I think it would be interesting for you guys, so you can hear the difference between the JB and the Duncan distortion. So for heavy metal, pedal to the metal sound, no cleans whatsoever. Just go Duncan Distortions. If you like the thrash metal sound, you're not going to find a better thrash metal sound than Duncan Distortions. But if you kind of want to be able to play straight through the amp without feeling like you're murdering it, without compression, the JB is about as hot of a pickup as you can get away with. Anything hotter is a little too hot for playing straight through the amp. But let's say you want to play straight through a Marshall, but you want to sound modern. JB will do it. JB in the 59, legendary. It's been, they've been out since 1976 or something like that, and they, you've heard the JB in the 59 probably more than any other pickup in the world. They're extremely, extremely popular. The downside is everybody has them. Like if this was going to be my heavy metal guitar, and it was say in drop C tuning or whatever, I'd probably put a Duncan Invader in here just to see what happens. But then it kind of kills the concept of the guitar being versatile with your push-pull pot. See, I don't have a push-pull pot on the Flying V. The Flying V is just, no, you're just putting the, I don't even want to put a volume and a tone on that thing. It's pedal to the metal and that's it, and shut up. Just pedal to the metal. Where this, okay, maybe we want some nuance. Maybe we're going to pop it into a single coil mode. And the bridge, we'll roll off that a little bit. Oh, yeah, there's a detent there. Oh, I want true bypass. There you go. I got true bypass. I'm going to put a little more gain on it. I'm going to slap her into there. Yeah, there we go. Now we're cruising. So this guitar, you get 6 different sounds out of it. It's all the sounds you'd ever need. So you can go, I wouldn't say a Telecaster sound, but close. It's like a modern Telecaster sound. And then everything else is just kind of like Eddie Van Halen pedal to the metal, Jakey Lee pedal to the metal, Warren DeMartini pedal to the metal, George Lynch pedal to the metal. It has that kind of sound, right? Where it doesn't have Gojira, Elvedi, Periphery, those kind of sounds, or like black metal sounds. It doesn't do black metal. This guitar, you can do black metal on it, sure, but it doesn't have the black metal sound. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't have that really dark sound. This is a very bright sounding guitar, very lively. You can do your Yngwie stuff on it. It's great. Jason Becker stuff, Joe Satriani stuff. You could do all that stuff. But it doesn't sound like an Ibanez. It sounds like a Charvel. So is what it is. And now this Charvel, after probably almost 4 years of it's sitting in the music store for probably at least 3 of those years. And well, I haven't had the guitar a year yet, so it'd be from either. I'm pretty sure I bought this guitar in May, but I'm thinking I might have bought it at the tail end of March. What happened was it was a $1,650 guitar, brand spanking new, that went discontinued for $1,050 something, came up about $1,300. Basically the price of a base model before tax. So if you bought the black one, base model, exact same guitar as this, all same features, except for just flat black, that one's about $1,300, right? So I got this, tax and all, shipped to my house for just a little under $1,300. Now, what kind of bang for the buck guitar is that now? You will not find, you just won't find it. The new version of this is almost $2,000. I know. And the new version, again, Floyd 1500. Difference that I understand is some of the hardware is stainless. You've got a plug and play rather than just a regular. I think the collet's on it as well. This is just the collet for the Floyd 1000. Holds up nice. I love the Floyd 1000. It's legendary. Pickups are the same except for the whited out. Roasted maple fingerboard with a blacked out headstock. So that's what and it has the DK body. So they almost got it 100% right. If I was to call up Charvel, hello Charvel, here's what you need to do. Do you remember that DK24 that you made that looked just like this with the roasted 24 fret maple board? Yeah, but you put a darn Godot tremolo on it instead of a Floyd Rose. Yeah, just put the freaking Floyd Rose on that one. Charge whatever you gotta charge. That would be the perfect guitar, right? But that said, this is the next perfect guitar. This is a perfect guitar. It is absolutely. I am enjoying this guitar so much. A guy who loves guitars so much. I am extremely picky about the guitars I buy, and I know a lot of people think I buy my guitars impulsively. Right? I don't. I actually don't. So here's some more of my electrics. like all these guitars, like the Gibson SG-61 reissue, that's been my favorite guitar of all time. But these two Mark Holcomb guitars are really, really damn good. Especially like that six string. The new version of this is much more expensive. The blue ones, they're almost like $200 to $300 more, $400 more on each of the Mark Holcomb guitars, right? So I got them when bang for the buck. Like if you just have that Mark Holcomb six string, that's all the guitar you'll ever need. You know what I mean? It's just that's my drop tuning guitar, and I wanted something with a Floyd Rose. But if I had to pick between those two guitars versus this one, the real issue would be not the six strings, but do I want to play a seven string or the six string with the Floyd? That's what it would come down to. Although there is some differences between the Mark Holcomb six string, which I will do a shootout with that guitar against this guitar, because there's like, if you bought one or the other, you'd be niggling over, do you want the Floyd Rose or do you want 24 frets? That's really what it would come down to between those two guitars. An alder body versus maple neck, and fingerboard versus mahogany body with a maple cap. Both have maple caps on it, versus a ebony fingerboard and a maple neck and a fixed bridge. And then, of course, the pickup differences, which the Mark Holcomb guitars are just pedal to the metal on those versions. The newer versions with the Scourge and Scarlet pickups, I haven't tried those yet, but they're probably closer to the JBs. Anyway, yeah, so I got new strings on there, ready for recording. I'll go put this thing back in the rack where it belongs. And I'll stretch them out a little bit more. I want to do a few other things today before I do, but not change bass strings. I mean, what do you think I am? Freaking Superman? It's a lot of work, man. Cables like that, I could throw it my back, yeah, anyway, yeah. So that means I've only got two guitars left to change strings on. But some of the other guitars that I changed strings on, the strings are starting to get dead now, especially on the acoustics. Yeah, I do have to upgrade acoustic guitars big time. But yeah, I mean, I'm done with the electric guitars for now. I got to get guitar amps, bass amp. Those two things are the next on the list. And then acoustic guitars and the PA system so I can start gigging. Right? So there's things. There's always things. But yeah. Anyway, there we go.